Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Kingdom Hearts. Last time we spent an hour here in Atlantica and let's get the hell out of here because we found a torn page, that's right. We're not going to go back to do 100 Acre Wood stuff. Let's see, I think this has 1 star more, that's 2. This is why I like the battle level system more than the star system. Also, why doesn't it like center on the question mark? It doesn't do it for either. Well, anyway, let's do 4, 6, 7, and I think this is just 6. 2, 4, and 6. So let's go over there. Firstly, we need to warp back to Agrabah. And then we need to go all the way to Halloween Town. Which probably will be a fairly lengthy world as well. Neverland will probably, the episode after, well actually it's going to be next episode, will probably be somewhat shorter because Neverland isn't that long of a world. But then again, like I've been saying since the beginning of this playthrough, the episode we're going to Hollow Bastion is going to probably be even longer than the one we just did in Atlantica, and I expect it to be anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2 hours long. Because Hollow Bastion in and of itself is a pretty lengthy world, but it also has a lot of story development. There's a lot of cutscenes which takes up quite a bit of time. Even with cutting out the cutscenes, it's a very lengthy world. It might even be roughly as long without cutscenes as some worlds are with cutscenes. Maybe even longer actually, because I've had episodes that are just like 20 minutes, and I think Hollow Bastion's gameplay portion might actually be longer than 20 minutes. And then there's like literally probably an hour of cutscenes. Which I won't be listening or watching to whatsoever, because by this point I can dream the entire story and every single cutscene in this game. Which I have never actually, not as far as I know at least, had a dream about Kingdom Hearts. If you have, it might be time to, well, either stop playing this game or just stop playing games for a while in general, because having dreams about a video game usually doesn't really mean anything positive for you. I have a question. I was thinking about this the other day, and I had a couple of other things going through my mind and I don't remember what they are, but I have one very important question. And you might think I'm crazy for asking this, or stupid, one or the other, or both. And I very well might be, but do bugs have homes? Seriously, like, I know some animals have homes they return to after a day of hunting, and they build themselves a home. Birds, for instance, are a really good example of that. Also, I probably shouldn't block enemy ships with my own ship. Birds, for instance, are a very good example of that. They build nests. And I think pretty much any bird in the world, in that way, built itself a home. Humans, of course, have homes. I know there's a lot more animals that do have homes, but bugs, like flies, ladybugs, mosquitoes, do they return home? Because I don't know that they do. They might just like live everywhere. A bear, for instance, we're already there, wow. A bear, for instance, does it like go out, hunt some stuff, fish a little bit, and then return to a certain place in the forest, or just does it just walk around the forest for its entire life and just like lay down when it wants to sleep and then gets back up when it wants to eat and just kind of like wander the forest without having a specific place to call itself home? I know a lot of animals are very much like into defending their territory, which that in a way could signify it's their home. But bugs have a really distinct disadvantage. And hear me out here, right? Have you ever gotten into a car and there was a fly inside the car, or any other type of bug? Because at that point, when you just drive away, it could be kilometers and kilometers or miles and miles. I mean, it's not literally the same, but for like this story, for this anecdote, it's practically the same. It could be a very, very long drive where you cross like half a country. Depending on what country that is, that might actually be more or less feasible. Right here in the Netherlands, one like drive could take you across half the country. In the US or maybe like Russia, not as likely to do that on one sitting. Anyhow, that could be a lot of flying, and that bug probably would never be able to get home. If it has a home at all. I mean, if it doesn't have a home, it just gets out of the car and continues its life over where you ended your drive. Maybe the ecosystem there, depending on how long your drive was, is a little different. And maybe it'll die very quickly, or maybe it'll wipe out the entire ecosystem with the diseases it comes with. I don't know. Probably that doesn't happen. But maybe it gets out of the car and it's like, fuck, how do I get home? I don't know where I am. I've never been here. Where is my home? Again, I am very aware of the fact that this all sounds very absurd. And it is. It very much is. But it was something that I was thinking about the other day, and I don't think every single animal... I mean, if an animal is prone to protect its territory, that means it's got a home. But there's animals that don't do that. I mean, I guess there's a lot of nomadic animals which don't have homes, I suppose. I think most fish definitely wouldn't have homes, right? Honestly, I don't know. I'm no biologist, I'm not into this kind of stuff, it's just... I was wondering that, and if anybody watching this video has any clue as to answering my question, I'm legitimately intrigued. It's also funny, I did not plan this, it's also funny I'm talking about bugs in Halloween Town, which, like, both are kind of scary to some people. I don't understand why people are scared of bugs, though, let's be honest here. They can't really do anything against you. I mean, I guess mosquitoes, malaria is a thing, fair enough, and some more diseases. But in like a modern world, that isn't an issue. You can just go to the hospital and get yourself fixed up. Most diseases are curable. And as far as I know, there's no mosquito that causes something like... I suppose, actually... I was going to say nothing like AIDS or cancer, but I suppose... Theoretically speaking, I hate that sound even in a video game. Anyway, I suppose, technically speaking, it could be possible for somebody that's HIV positive to get stung by a mosquito bite, and then the mosquito lands on you and bites you. It's not a bite, it's a sting. Is it a bite or is this sting? Good question, because it drinks your blood, so it will imply a bite. But it's like a needle-like device which he uses to get into your blood vein, so would that be a sting? I don't think it's a sting, I think it's a bite. Anyhow, maybe a little bit of like... It just has to be a tiny little bit of the virus that's stuck on its mouth stinger thing, which could enter your bloodstream and infect you, right? Is that how that works? I don't know if that's how that works. But maybe that would be theoretically possible, so maybe mosquitoes could actually cause AIDS.
Would you like to come along?
Sure.
That's the moral of the story. If you take anything away from this episode whatsoever, it's mosquitoes can cause AIDS. AIDS, possibly, probably not, but I feel like if they could, we would know, right? And when we would know, I mean, I would have heard about something like that because I spend quite a lot of time on the internet, and the internet has a real fondness of trivia, just like I have. And I probably would have heard something about somebody getting AIDS from a mosquito. Which, that sounds really, really weird. I guess not just HIV or AIDS would work that way. Anything that... Actually, I was going to say any disease that can be transferred via blood But I don't think there is a lot of diseases that will transfer like that via blood and then also actually infect you. I mean, there might be quite a few diseases that enter your bloodstream. I guess mostly all viruses do. But I would assume that it's something that most bodies in small quantities would just get rid of, and there is something about HIV and AIDS that just the immune system... Well, I guess it sabotages the immune system, right? So the immune system wouldn't be able to... Okay, I'm gonna stop because, again, I'm no biologist, I'm not a doctor by any means, so I'm just talking nonsense at this point. I don't like this part of Halloween Town. The one thing I do like about Halloween Town is the fact that, for some reason, the filter that's... Or maybe it's actually the textures on the Heartless, but especially the shadows. Usually they're just like black and don't have any texture really. They just are black and... Maybe there's a little bit of lighting effects going on their bodies, but mostly they're just black. Here they actually have a little bit of a grey texture. And I don't know if that's because of the misty filter that's over this entire world, other than the cutscenes. Or that's because they actually have a different texture. I think it might be to do with having an actual separate texture for this world. In which case, that's very, very cool. I like that. I can legitimately appreciate that. Then again, it might not be, and it might just be a filter, and it might not even be on purpose, and they just, like, kind of kept it in.
I have a bad feeling about this. Why don't you try something else? There's still time.
Nothing could beat what I've got planned.
Why does Jack always mess everything up? I mean, I guess that's kind of the point of his movie, right? He wants to be Santa Claus, and he kind of messes up the entirety of Christmas by giving everybody, by the way, spoilers, by giving everybody Halloween-themed presents. So children are getting decapitated heads and spiders, and I don't know how to actually get decapitated heads. They probably don't. But as a general, like, indicator of the theme of presents he gives children during Christmas, I might add, yeah, I don't think children will actually like that all that much. So I guess that's why in Kingdom Hearts he messes everything up as well. But I still don't know. I mean, I really very much enjoy this world in both Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, but neither of them really has much to do with the original movie. And at this point, they can't go back to that, because in Kingdom... I mean, this definitely would take place before Kingdom Hearts, before the actual movie. So this Kingdom Hearts world would be a prequel to that. And then the actual movie takes place inside the year. It doesn't make any sense. But if you want to try and fit it, it takes place inside the year Sora's asleep, between Kingdom Hearts 1, or between Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2. And in Kingdom Hearts 2, it is implied that Santa Claus and Jack already know each other. And this is the second year they meet each other. So that would imply, like I said, the movie takes place in between stuff. So, barring time travel, which hopefully, other than young Xehanort returning in Kingdom Hearts 3, that won't ever be a thing again. Because, well, I guess Ansem and Xemnas also would require time travel to return. But don't add anything more to the time travel aspects. Though I'm going to be honest. There might be a thing where the Master of Masters or Luke's... what is it? Lucio? Lucio, I think. Has some time traveling thing going on and a link with Xehanort. Maybe. Possibly. I mean, I'm gonna put out a theory, and I don't know if the theory is an actual thing yet. But hear me out here. So what if it's all a cycle? And it probably will be. But what if Lucio takes his Keyblade and passes it down through generations and generations? But not only does he pass down his Keyblade, he also passes down his heart. And he becomes Xehanort at some point. So it's not Terranord, it's not Aquanord. It's Terralu and Aqualu. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And then at some point he goes back in time to before the first Keyblade War. I know there's a lot of plot holes in my theory. I'll get to those in a second. In a way that only Nomura could. I need to concentrate here for a second. Okay, so it's this one first, then this one, then that one. Okay, so that doesn't work. Oh, I need to examine them. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So then Xehanort at some point goes back in time, and he can go back because Lucio is there, and he becomes the Master of Masters. Or the other way around, I suppose, but it makes a lot more sense that Xehanort, after experiencing that all, goes back and becomes the Master of Masters, then becoming a Lucio. And that makes a cycle, and that just is destiny. Would be a cool theory. I'll hate if that actually ends up being the case. I'll be mad as hell, because no, just no. One plot hole you might point out with that theory, and again, Nomura makes interesting stories, because we've seen that over the past 15 or so years, but he's not very good at making a story that's plot hole free. He's very good at patching up plot holes in the most convoluted, annoying ways possible, but he's not good at making sure he doesn't create them in the first place. And you can't tell me everything happening in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance and Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, all that was planned from Kingdom Hearts 1 on. He just... It's not. It's very much not. But you might point out that there has been a Keyblade War, and if Xehanort is Lucio, why would he want to see another Keyblade War? Because he had already seen one. And that's a good point. I could say... Well, it's never stated that Xehanort hasn't seen a Keyblade War, but it's implied. It's very much implied that he hasn't. But maybe, possibly, we have seen Xehanort, after taking over Terra, getting a form of amnesia, and that was mostly because he was beat to hell by Aqua. And it's also kind of implied that that amnesia is not actually amnesia, and he's just playing like he's forgot all of his memories. Then again, some other things imply that he gets his memories back. It's kind of contradictory. Let's assume it's very much possible for Lucio's heart to pass down, and at some point forget all of his memories and not get them back. And then throughout like 10 more generations, all those memories actually become lost. The reason Xehanort could get back like, all of his memories because it was literally previous life, and not like 10 or 20 back. So maybe that's how it works. Maybe, hopefully, that is very much not how it works, because I'm making up this fanfiction theory, and I'm hating it as I make it up myself. So if this ends up being actually the case, there's nothing I can do really, except just complain a lot. And that's what I do anyway, I just complain a lot. So yeah. There's also theories going around that the Four Talus are reincarnated into some characters we already know, like Sora, Riku, Kairi, Axel. I don't know why Axel. I made a lot more sense than I thought it was going to. Maybe I'm making up the Axel part, but Terra, Ventus, Aqua, probably. Now, Ventus can't be reincarnated because Ventus at some point shows up. Wow, can't talk apparently today. He shows up at some point in Kingdom Hearts Key, I believe, and Nomura has confirmed that that is a canon game somehow. And his appearance in there is canon, and Ventus is just like literally very old. The only thing that would make sense there. And Ventus has also lost his memories, I might add, of that time. So the only thing that really makes sense there is Ventus spending a lot of time in the Realm of Darkness, as Aqua has been spending quite a bit of time in there. But not 10 years from her perspective. Actually 12 years from her perspective. But in the outside world, 12 years have passed, and this is again a plot point in 0.2. She's like, how much time has passed in the Realm of Light? And Mickey's like, oh yeah, that's 10 years, so I'm sorry I only came looking for you now. And then another 2 years go by and they go looking for her again, because reasons. At which point they're too late. Honestly, you can't blame Xehanort for taking something that has been dangling in front of him for 12 years and nobody even gave a shit about rescuing this poor girl. I mean, for her perspective, it can't have been that long, the 12 years. So if they rescued her after a year, it would have been like almost instantaneously for her. Would have probably been like a week, maybe, in the Realm of Darkness, assuming that she's been in there for like a couple of months. In her time, it all just doesn't make a lot of sense, so I shouldn't try to make sense of it. But that's kind of my thing. I try to make sense of things that don't make sense. Maybe I could work at game theory, because they do the same thing. They try to make sense of things that don't make sense, and then their explanations don't make sense. It's exactly what I've been doing for the past 10 or so minutes. Actually, counting the Bug Home story, that's exactly what I've been doing for the past 22 minutes. I might not like this world very much at some point. Also, maybe I'm thinking about Kingdom Hearts 2, a part I don't like, because there's a part of the graveyard I don't like, and I haven't seen that yet. And after this, I mean, we're just going up the tower, fighting Oogie, fighting Lock, Shock and Barrel. Where are you? Never mind. Anyway, fighting Lock, Shock and Barrel, does Thunder work? Very much doesn't. I should have known that. This is something I also don't like. The fact that you never can make it first time onto that thing. Well, you might technically be able to, but practically speaking, you won't. Yeah, so we fight Lock, Shock and Barrel, which is coming up very quickly and gonna be done very quickly. Then we fight Oogie, and then we fight Oogie's Manor, and that's the entirety of this world. So this world isn't as long as I thought it was going to be. I thought this world was much, much longer. And Neverland isn't that long either. Watch Neverland being actually longer than this episode. The thing is, the length of these worlds in my mind is mostly, if not entirely, based on just gameplay, not taking into account the amount of cutscenes. And I think Neverland has a fair amount more cutscenes than Halloween Town, because Halloween Town doesn't really have many cutscenes. Like, at all. You see, they could have added a full cutscene there. They didn't. They didn't bother to. I guess Neverland has some more actual plot progression since Riku shows up. Spoiler, by the way, since Riku shows up. So there's a lot more cutscenes because of that. You see how quickly this fight went. Wait a second, he was just following orders. Is that a Nazi reference in Kingdom Hearts? I think it might be. And that's somewhat disturbing. Oh, no. Something I almost always forget to do is open the door. You need to hit that handle to open the door at the bottom of this place. Also, I'm not going to walk all the way back. I'm mostly going to jump my way down. Because if you just jump down here... I think, yeah, the door's here. The torture chamber. Where we will fight Oogie Boogie, the normal version. I do enjoy this fight. I don't like this fight in Chain of Memories. I like this fight in the original game.
Want it? Well then, come on over and get it.
And I mean, it's a way different fight in Kingdom Hearts 2, but it still has a element of you can't hit Oogie unless you get up to him. In Kingdom Hearts 2, it's unless you get him down to you. It's a decent fight, but I think Oogie Boogie in this game is honestly one of the most interestingly designed fights in the series. I mean, Ground Shaker in Kingdom Hearts 2 is fun, just mostly because he's very big and has some Shadow of the Colossus feeling to it. But this game, I think this might be one of my favorite boss fights, honestly. Okay, I just ended up with a hair in my mouth. I don't know how I ended up with a hair in my mouth. Let's see. So the way you do this, I didn't know for a very long time when I was younger. Is not pick the middle one apparently, because you can't get on top. That's good to know. That might be a bug. Anyway, the way you do this is you just walk around, and when the buttons light up, also you want to hit back these things because they do damage, and the fewer of them are on the board, the better the attacks will be for you. That being said, they won't ever be good, they'll just be less worse or less bad. So at some point these things will light up, and when you step on them, it's not a quadrant, it's like 1/6 will be isolated, and you can go up and beat up Oogie a little bit. And then I think it's a timer, but also an HP trigger, which just downright pushes you off. Come on. You can only hit them as long as they are tumbling around. The moment they stop tumbling around, you can't hit them. So one thing you will want to avoid at all times is walking too close to the center, because if you're standing on something when they start to glow, like that accidentally, walking over them, yeah, you can't get to Oogie. I think you might be able to... Yeah, you can use magic on him. I mean, technically speaking, you can magic him like that. Not a very efficient way of dealing damage. 1/1 and... I don't know, but I think this might be very bad. I think it's a Saw Blade again. Yeah, that's not too bad. There's one which I probably won't be able to show you at all. Sometimes it's not very clear where the lines are. And you have to take a little bit of a gamble. So yeah, the one thing I wanted to show you, I can't show you since I kind of defeated Oogie before I could. But there's a couple of sides that come down and spin and do all kinds of weird stuff, and it's very... It's one of the most interesting attacks, but it's also fairly annoying to avoid, especially with the camera system that doesn't quite work perfectly in this game. And it's all a huge, like, big deal. I think it's implied that that blue bug is Oogie, and the other bugs are just like doing its bidding or something. Maybe I'm just making stuff up, but I think that's implied. Never stated outright, but I think it's implied. Did I say I think it's implied? Okay, so I do enjoy the last fight. This fight, again, has a certain Shadow of the Colossus feeling to it, because, well, it's literally huge. And you have to defeat its weak points. I love it. I don't know why I haven't played Shadows of the Colossus yet. It is called Shadows of the Colossus, isn't it? Am I just making a fool of myself? The game where you have to beat big guys by climbing them and then stabbing your sword into their weak spots, and a lot of like black mist pours out, and I think there's 12 of them in total. That game? Yeah, I think it's Shadows of the Colossus. I don't know, but I still haven't played that game. I really should though. The only thing in this game is Kingdom Hearts is not very good at platforming at all. So doing a big... Kingdom Hearts 2's Ground Shaker doesn't have this issue. But doing a big fight like this where platforming is somewhat important just doesn't quite work. But the concept and the idea is very cool. And that's what makes me a little bit sad, to be honest. Also, there's a lot of Heartless around. Because Oogie has the power of darkness, even though he doesn't have his heart anymore. Because he didn't have a heart, and that's why he wants the artificial heart, and also he can do that. That's annoying. I don't quite understand the story in this world, to be honest. I don't need to. I've never taken this route before. It's a very interesting route, to be sure. What even am I doing, to be honest? I don't know. I'm taking a route which I'm not supposed to take. That much is for sure. Oh. Maybe I'm just stupid. Wait a second, there's another one? Where's the last one? This is what you get for not paying attention. There's another one somewhere. I just don't know where, and I can't look down with my camera because this game hates me. I think I see it. Yeah, I do. Okay, luckily it's not that far up. I was gonna say, and I fell down, so that's going to suck, but nope. Please let this be the last one. Okay, so they're immune to magic. That seemed like it'd be the last one. Okay, that's the end of Halloween Town. About half an hour. Longer than I expected. I expected to be done in about 25 minutes. Halfway through that. I mean, at first, going into this, I expected this episode to be 45 minutes. Then at some point I adjusted that to, oh, maybe we're going to be done in about 25. And now it's going to be about 35. So, nice middle ground there, I suppose. The way Sora closes the keyhole in this world still... It's a huge keyhole that's on the ground under the Oogie Boogie Manor, and he bounces the beam off the moon. It's creative, it's cool, it's a little bit weird. Power of the Stars, Gravira. Never gonna use gravity because I'm not gonna fight Ansem. I'm going to fight Ansem, don't worry. I'm not gonna fight Zamnus.
We'll come up with another plan for Halloween. Next time, we'll do it together.
That's the entirety of the ending cutscene for this world. Pumpkinhead is not the decisive pumpkin. I need to remind myself of that. It's not the best Keyblade in the game. But I think it's still pretty good, so let's check it out. Also, I think I might have gotten an ability or two. Treasure Magnet. Look, Sora needs Treasure Magnet. Talking about abilities. Let's see. Second Wind. Second Chance. Evolution, Cheer, Tornado. MP Rage seems useful for Goofy. Because he's a lot of HP. Jack, I don't care about. MP Rage is good for Donald as well. Equipment. Pumpkinhead has a long reach and the ability to do a string of critical blows. It reduces my max MP, but my MP is already rather high for somebody that doesn't use a lot of magic. And it's more powerful, it's a longer reach, and it has a higher critical chance, it seems. Or at least maybe when you do a critical combo rather than only... I don't know how it works. Seems like a better option for me. Is there anything that improves on my ribbon yet? I don't expect there is. I mean, technically speaking, but hell no, I'm not getting rid of my EXP necklace. So goofy. Protera, ring, Jack doesn't need anything, and no real upgrades there for, unless I can upgrade Donald's MP actually, I didn't look at that, I can't. Well, that's that, and let's find a save point to end of this episode. I know where one is, yeah. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Let's Play Kingdom Hearts. It's been a little bit of a weird episode. Commentary-wise, for some reason, I don't know. It's all over the fucking place. I hope you guys enjoyed, though. Until the next time, though, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you have enjoyed this video, which hopefully you have. I'll see you all later. Bye.